watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White. now watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
All right, we're back for another episode of Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White. Of course, I'm Perry White. He's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Roger Cador. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Mr. White.
We are now a few days past the big weekend over in Arlington, Texas. You had an opportunity to go over and be a part of the festivities. MLB All-Star Weekend, but most importantly, the big game that had to be circled around MLB All-Star Weekend was the HBCU Swingman Classic, the 2024 edition, the second one that they've had, first year in Seattle, Washington. This year, you get to bring it down to the South, closer to the HBCU landscape. Talk to us a little bit in just terms of this dream or reality, year two of it, and what you thought about it.
Well, you know, I don't know if it was a dream, but damn, it sure is reality right now. We've been able to really grow this thing. In 2 years, we doubled the attendance, and the quality of play is really good, and that's what is important. It's the product you put on the field that helps with the attendance. And I can say this, the fans who came enjoyed themselves. They showed it. They didn't hold back. They had a grand old good time.
When you talk about a grand old time, let's get to a position of talking about all the festivities that was around it. Not only the baseball game, but let's talk about the baseball game, the teams, the coaches, everything surrounding putting this thing together.
Yeah, and you know, we wanted to do it in a similar fashion at the Negro League. They had other things associated with the game as an entertainment piece. And we felt that we had to do that in order to get the people interested in it, the curiosity. So we added the band, even though Prairie View wasn't able to come because of the weather that came through. Texas Southern brought some people, and they had a lot of other entertainers and other piece to the puzzle that made it even more interesting that the fans could enjoy. And I tell you, once they had it, once they got it, they didn't let it go.
For you, once you got there and you looked around and you saw these players representing these HBCUs from around Division I, and getting the opportunity to be on the big stage with the big leaguers, being with these MLB execs and MLB greats. For you, what was that feeling that you started to see for a lot of these young guys being on this stage and having this opportunity?
Well, I said, you know, in America today, there's only 50 of them getting this kind of opportunity. Just think how many kids won't get the opportunity these 50 kids got. I mean, it won't happen. It's only going to be 50. And every year it's going to be 50, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. And so, you know, even kids at Power 5 conference, if they don't make the College World Series, they don't get to have this kind of experience. They do play some of their conference games in Major League Stadium, but boy, they don't get to be on the MLB network. They don't have some of the things that comes with what MLB put together and give the kids. They don't. Only 50 kids going to experience it. I keep going to that. It's not for everybody.
For you, the experience is not only for those 50 kids, but you had coaches that was there to represent their schools and their players that participated. I saw pictures of athletic directors that were there from the various institutions of HBCUs representing right there for this. What kind of doors does this now begin to start to open as you start to look at that, I guess, that camaraderie of HBCUs, HBCU athletics, and most importantly, baseball in the world of MLB, where you have resources and opportunities for young people and for administrators?
As long as they're not just looking at baseball, it's a world of opportunity in the media department. So much opportunity. Oh my goodness, it's wide open for the kids who really want to work hard and be progressive with their thinking. There are opportunities in the media department, in the I met two young men from New Orleans who did the radio, and one did a TV of the game. I mean, Perry, just so many opportunities. But you got to be willing to work and start at the low level and work your way up, because that's how it's happened. You got to start low and work your way up.
I'm always curious to ask, especially with this type of opportunity. It's 2024. Of course, you're in your retirement years now, but still very active, especially with events that's like this. But what would this have looked like if you had this in the days of the 90s with these type of opportunities, and especially when you were able to get a lot more African-American players, and the level of play was tremendously higher, I think, when you look at compared to the game of today in HBCU baseball?
Yeah, that question did come up, and I thought about something that the legendary Satchel Paige said: don't look back, look forward. That's where the opportunities are. Those behind you can't do anything about. And he was correct in there. Yeah, it would have been really great in the 80s and 90s when I had great players and great teams. And but we can't look back.
Yeah.
The opportunity to do what we're doing didn't exist. So we've got to take it when it does. And I certainly not going to cry about maybe the time passed me by when I could have. I'm not going to look back. That's not what I do. I'm looking forward. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of what MLB have allowed me to do, is to help put this thing together. How much better can it get? I'm still a part of it.
Looking at MLB today, what was the response from those execs, administrators, coaches, everybody that's a part of MLB? And we talked about it last week, that you're bringing something for a lot of them that is new, a culture and a whole new dynamic that comes from HBCUs. What was some of the feedback and response that you got, especially then this year? You guys incorporated the band. You said Prairie View was not able to show up, but Texas Southern, that added that extra flair of that HBCU atmosphere. Did you kind of get where some people saw, you know what, this is something I need to check out more, or I had no clue?
Well, they loved it. They thought it was unique. Remember, that's not what they get to see a lot.
Yeah.
And they got to see something unique. And they got to see us promoting a brand that they want more people to know about, especially African American. They want the African American community to know more about baseball, get more involved, have a part in it. And we're way down the road as it relates to that. We're moving.
Go through some of the teams and some of the players that you saw representing their schools. What schools did you see on those from players representing?
Well, all of the 12 SWAC schools and 5 in the MEAC that plays baseball. So, but you know, I have to say, the brand of baseball was pretty good. The kids we picked, the brand was pretty good. They have some kids that's going to get drafted, and you'll be surprised once you put them in that arena how well they look. And so we're going to have some kids get drafted. It's just that everything have changed with the draft. It's only 20 rounds now. You don't have as many people being drafted. You know, they cut out 600 people being drafted. You know, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs. And then they cut another 450 jobs in professional baseball at the minor league level. So a lot of jobs have been eliminated. But, you know, there are still opportunities available for those who work hard and prepare themselves.
All right, Coach, let's take you back now. Your days of coaching. Let's put on the coaching hat, right? Put your coaching hat on, and when you stepped out there and you watched the performance of these HBCU baseball players representing the SWAC and the MEAC, 50 players, where do you see we can improve on the game of what you saw out there from these guys? And what did you see that they did well that you said, you know what, I can see the uptick in that?
Well, I don't see how we can improve it much more other than if the transfer portal doesn't take away some of the bright young players we have in this way, or if the transfer portal give us some of the kids from the Power 5 conference that jumps back down. You got me? It's got to be one. We got to keep the one we got, because they have some pretty good ones. And some of them are going to leave, just like some left this year. But we got to get some out of the Power Five to keep the game at a high quality. And the game is at a pretty good quality. We're very pleased with the quality. So we'll just have to see.
And I'm asking, I guess, in terms of field position, outfielders coming into the infield, pitching, back catching. What area of the game did you seem to be most impressed when you look at that position?
Well, your outfielders are going to be your better athletes. Mm-hmm. And we had good shortstop play, second base play. And the pitching was pretty good. So it's, you always want to get a little better in the power area, first base, third base, left field, right field. Well, you like to see a little more power. Other than that, they play well.
And as those players were being evaluated, I think this is the big thing, being evaluated, and you having these scouts and you having professionals from the professional side of Major League Baseball watching. Was there anybody that stood out where you heard a name of a young man where they said, that young man is special?
Well, I didn't. I was in a different area.
Okay.
So I didn't get to hear those people talk. Remember, they're in a different area, so I was in a different area. But,
Where you was at with the food? You was with the food? Where you was at?
No, I was with some of the former big leaguers.
Yeah.
The C.C. Sabathias and Adam Jones and Fred Lewis and there was a bunch of former major leaguers.
Talk to me about that. Being in that environment, here you are, Hall of Famer, never a million years coming from right there in New Roads, Louisiana, and now you at this MLB All-Star Weekend, and you're right there with these big names because your name is just as big. What was that like, conversating, talking to these guys, and just being in that room?
Well, I tell you, C.C. Sabathia and I had a talk. We both big guys. His family is from New Orleans. He grew up in Oakland, right outside of Oakland. Mm-hmm. And his family from New Orleans, we talked. We talked about the food, and he said he'll be coming down and he's going fishing. Uh-huh. He wants to catch some of the fish over there in below New Orleans, there, godly.
Redfish and all that stuff.
In Venice.
Venice, yeah.
Yeah. So we, those guys are just like you and I. They're no different than the neurosurgeon. They're regular people. When you get them in their element, what happened is people who don't understand that they're just people, they make them uncomfortable because they ask the wrong questions I don't ask questions, I just talk. Mm-hmm. So it makes it easier for them to talk to me. Is when you go in there and start asking people all kind of questions. That's when you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We just talk about what's going on.
I'm sure that happens to you all the time as well, because who you are, the recognition, it's hard to kind of just get the genuineness out of people. Everybody's just kind of in awe, so they're so quick to ask you all of these questions about coaching and the people that you know. Yeah. It kind of takes away from the authentic conversation that one could have with someone.
That's right. If you want to have a conversation, just talk with people. Don't ask questions. You can get a lot further down the road.
I think, and that's one thing for me where I've always been able to have a good opportunity with meeting people in life, and especially people where you look at what a status or, who they are and what they've accomplished, when you realize when most people get around them, is almost a starstruck perspective to where instead of just talking to them as an average person, you have put them up on a pedestal. But the thing about it, that pedestal is everywhere they go, you're not doing anything different to separate the conversation because everybody's asking the same questions. Everybody's trying to get the same response. But if you're just human and talk to them the same way as human with respect, you'll find that conversation goes a lot further than, that celebrity conversation.
Yeah, it goes a lot further.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at it because I know that they don't want to be asking a lot of foolishness.
Yeah.
So I've been there, you got me?
Yeah.
So I just talk about good things. Hey, CC, man, when the last time you saw your family in New Orleans? man, I'm coming to see them this summer.
Yeah.
See, it's easy at that point, you got me? I said, yeah, that food is good now. Man, listen, I'm coming, we going fishing in Venice. We'll go catch all the fish we can. So now you see we're able to do that kind of conversation, you know.
You take the conversation away from something that everybody loads them down with.
Yeah.
Everybody loads you down with the baseball stuff, right? But life outside of baseball is what the part I think people miss when you have an opportunity to talk to these people.
Like Adam Jones, for instance. I'd never met Adam Jones before. I know who he was and who he is. So I just said, man, I remember that catch you made when you played for the USA team, and you made that great catch. And he remembered that, and he talked and laughed and said, then he said, man, you must have played basketball. I said, yeah. I said, looked like you could have played. He said, I played a lot. You know, so those are the kind of things that people like talking about more than numbers, stats, or something. You know what I'm saying?
And I like the whole idea because it gave HBCU the spotlight. HBCUs, it gave them the opportunity to be right there.
Right.
You had these guys, these big leaguers and everybody who probably did not know about an HBCU,
Yeah,
right?
they didn't, right. You know what was really, it caught me a little off guard. Jesse Barfield. I don't know if you know Jesse Barfield. He was one of the players, played with Toronto, the Yankees. And he said, hey, Coach, my wife told me I had to take a picture with you. At all costs, I better take a picture with you. Well, I've never met Jesse Barfield. I certainly don't know his wife. But she wanted a picture with me. Wanted me to take a picture. And I mean, those are the kinds of things. You have family, all kind of family that you don't even know you have.
Yeah.
And they send in love. I never met Mrs. Barfield, but she wanted that picture.
Yeah.
She wanted me to take that picture.
Does it surprise you when you get in those settings
No.
of people who may not know you to realize how far the name Roger Cador has rung out over the land and over the airwaves to where people know who you are and what you've accomplished?
No.
No?
No. I mean, and I'm not one of those people who brag about it. But it's amazing that, you know, they're aware of what I've done. And they're aware of because I've helped so many young kids. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a beautiful thing when you've done good things, you work hard, you've been kind to people, and the reward comes back abundantly. I mean, there's so much reward that comes back. So
now we move on. Arlington is a success. Talk about the crowd. You said, man, the crowd, they're just unbelievable to see how it increased from Seattle.
yeah, but not only did it increase, they enjoyed themselves. They had a grand old good time. I mean, I've never seen African Americans do that. They don't even do it at football games.
What did you see?
Man, I saw them enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
I saw people enjoying themselves. And that's really what we want. I mean, it was for 16,000 plus, it was so much noise in a good way in that stadium. And the people from MLB paid attention to it. They liked what they saw. And it makes it easy now for them to try and do it a little bigger. Put a few more dollars to make it bigger. And it's all about selling their brain. You got me? They understand. We got to get our brain in the African American community. We want our brain out there, like NFL, like NBA. Our brain, we want it out there. And that's what I got out of that.
And I'm looking also the brand of HBCU baseball. You know, when we talk about sports, and of course, this is just not HBCUs, but, you know, especially in the South, football is right there, right? Then you got a little basketball, but particularly people in the South love baseball, right? But how do we then begin to increase our brand of HBCU baseball to get it out there and get it bigger and further than we ever have before, especially using these type of platforms now?
Well, but the social media platform that the young people who participate stuck out there. They're the ones going to do it bigger than MLB, because the kids who did the social media, sent it out, is going right in the heart of the community. You got me? HBCU may go above them. You got me? But the kids, they're going right into the belly of where it needs to get with the young people. When they post something on social media and they send it out, they're sending it right there where those people we need to know, we need to have know about it now.
And I think especially it's going to take the parts of not just the young people, but the HBCUs themselves, the institutions.
I agree about that too.
Not just the school, but the athletics, how all have to work together to promote, because that's the only way you're going to be able to grow your own brand. And you can't miss out on the opportunity when your brand is able to partner with such a huge entity like MLB. You have to tag MLB. You have to take pictures with these players that are participating with the jerseys and say, hey, on behalf of Southern University, we were greatly appreciative to be a part of the MLB All-Star Weekend for the HBCU Swingman experience, and just really promoting that hard and heavy. And I don't think I have seen that this year of just capturing the moment. I hope as it continues to grow that they will capture the moment more, but I haven't seen it, especially not even from the athletic pages of schools that participated within this.
They got to send people there to take the pictures. Pictures sell 1,000 words. You got to come take pictures. You got to come be a part of it. Listen, everything is not an immediate return on your investment. If you think, and that's what I think too many people in administration think, you spend $1,000, you're going to get $1,000 return on the investment tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. You got to spend it, put it out there, and let it grow. You got me? And then you'll get a return. You're trying to, all the other people doing it.
And it's, you know what brings a smile on my face?